It's fascinating, isn't it? The way we can shape our minds, our perceptions, and our experiences, simply by altering the focus of our attention. Just like when you think about a time in your life when everything was going wrong, and your focus narrows in on all those negatives. Doesn't it feel as though that is the only reality? The past, the pain, the struggle, everything feels overwhelming. And of course that feeling spreads. You might not even realize it, but your mind, through this narrowing of focus, it can shift to the future, to all of the things that seem out of your control, to what could be wrong. And in doing so, your mind unconsciously associates wrong with everything. But here's the thing. What if you could just shift that focus? What if you could gently guide your attention, just slightly, to what's right, to what's working, to what you do have, to the abundance that's all around you? Imagine seeing your life through the lens of possibility, where your focus expands, and it includes the opportunities, the success, the joy that exists, or the strength you might not have yet fully recognized. And then, just like that, the path becomes clearer. So it's like shifting the focus of a camera. What once was blurry and hard to grasp comes into sharp relief. And all the things you're grateful for, all the beauty of the world, all the little triumphs that feel so good when you recognize them, it's all there, just waiting for you, just on the other side of that narrow focus. You see, depression, much like hypnosis, it's a narrowing of attention. In this case, it's the narrowing that leads to seeing only what's wrong. But it doesn't have to stay that way. And it doesn't have to feel like it's something that's outside of your control. Because here's something powerful to realize. What is believed in the mind is not really true. It's simply a belief. And beliefs, well, they can change. That's right. What feels like an unchangeable truth today is actually just something you've been rehearsing over and over without even realizing it. And by simply shifting your attention gently in ways that make it feel like a natural progression, you can start to experience a new reality. Now, what if I told you depression doesn't just come from your own thoughts or experiences? It's something that's been handed down from generation to generation. But wait, before that starts to feel heavy or like a burden, think of it this way. If these things can be handed down, so too can solutions. So too can the skills, the tools that help to break you free from the old ways of thinking. Generations before, you may have lived with certain patterns, but you have the ability right now to begin forging a new path. So imagine, you're the first to not let it be handed down, the first to stop the cycle. And with every step forward, you're lightening the load, not just for yourself, but for those who come after you. In this moment, you're planting seeds for a future that doesn't look anything like the past. You have that power. Your thoughts are the architects of your life. And when you shift your attention, you change everything. Now, what if you had a guide for this journey? Someone who could help you to uncover the why, the reasons that have shaped these patterns over time, and then give you the tools you need to unlock a new way of being. That's what hypnosis offers, a context to learn, to explore new possibilities, and to realize that change is not only possible, but it's desirable and attainable. And so, in this space, let's think about what it means to focus, because that's the key. Just like a spotlight, when you direct your attention in a certain direction, everything else fades into the background. So instead of focusing on the hopelessness, the frustration, things that feel like they'll never change, what if you turned your spotlight to the opportunities, the possibilities, that right now, in this moment, you have the ability to see things in a completely new light? While you begin to realize this, you are not passive in the process. You're not waiting for some miracle to happen. Instead, you're actively learning, experimenting with new ideas, seeing the world with eyes wide open, willing to try something different, even if it feels unfamiliar, even if it seems a bit uncertain. This willingness to entertain new ideas is like unlocking the door to an entirely different way of being. And what if those old beliefs, the ones that keep you stuck in certain places, they could be gently moved aside? What if you could start to disconnect from the old beliefs, the old habits, and replace them with something better? Something that supports the life you want to live, the way you respond to challenges. It could be something flexible, creative, and full of potential. Every challenge becomes just an opportunity to grow. It's not about solving problems, you see. It's about learning to solve problems, about adopting new skills, new ways of thinking, new responses. And that is where the real magic happens. The very moment you realise you have more than one option, there's more than one way to respond to a situation, you begin to see the world with fresh eyes. But here's the thing. You can't rush the process. It's about stepping into the unknown with patience, with curiosity, and with an openness to what comes next. This isn't about needing to fix things in an instant. It's about experimenting, taking action, and gradually building new ways of being. As you continue on this journey, you might even find your ability to focus on what works, to recognize the small victories, and to appreciate your progress becomes stronger, more automatic. When you think of depression, you begin to realize it's not just a bad mood, it's a pattern, something that was learned, and something that can be unlearned. And the more you open yourself to new experiences, to new possibilities, the more you'll realize your past, it doesn't have to define you. In fact, your future, what you're creating right now, with each thought, each action, becomes more exciting, more alive. You become someone who's empowered, who's resilient, who can face challenges and say, I can handle this. And you know, as you take these steps, you'll find it's not the big leap that makes the difference. It's those small, consistent steps. Those moments where you choose to focus on what's right, what's possible, and what's within your control. And as you continue to experiment, to practice, to create new possibilities in your life, the depression begins to dissolve. The struggle is replaced with a new way of thinking, a new way of being. And from there, your world becomes bigger, brighter, more filled with possibilities than you ever thought possible. And it all starts with that simple shift in attention. And as you begin to explore the possibilities all around you, notice how your thoughts, they have the power to shape everything. It's like having a choice to see a tree, not just as a tree, but as a doorway to an entire forest. It's not just about seeing the surface of things, but feeling the depth, feeling the connection, and realizing how everything is related in ways you may have never even thought about before. And the moment you recognize you can shift your attention, just ever so slightly, you open up a world of new potential. Imagine that, right now, you have an endless range of choices in front of you. Every moment, every second, you could choose to focus on something different. Isn't that fascinating? The act of shifting your focus gently takes you from one state to another. It's like moving from the shadows of the past to a brilliant light of the present moment, where everything feels possible. And you begin to realize that by simply choosing where to place your attention, you have the ability to transform your experience, and the very fabric of your reality starts to expand. Have you ever noticed how thoughts, those simple things that float in your mind, they can feel so heavy, almost as though they've taken on a life of their own? But when you zoom out, just for a moment, you realize they're just thoughts, and thoughts can change. The very way you look at them can shift everything. So imagine, just for a moment, thinking about all the times you believed something was impossible, and then realizing, in the very next thought, you could think something different. What happens when you do that? Everything changes. And here's the beauty of it. You don't need to push. You don't need to fight. You just need to gently allow new ideas to settle in, as though they're seeds being planted in fertile soil. The more you water those seeds with focus and intention, the stronger they grow. The key is not to rush. Let them grow naturally. But know, as you nourish them, they take root and they begin to flourish in ways you might not even expect. When you think about struggles you've faced, it's almost as though they've led you here, to this very moment, where you have the chance to change the entire course of things. Can you see it? Can you feel how even the hardest times, they open doors for you to step into something new? Every challenge, every setback was just a prompt, waiting for you to recognize that you have the ability to move forward, to focus in a new direction. As you continue to see things from different angles, notice how new ideas begin to emerge, like flashes of light illuminating paths that you've never considered before. And as you reflect on your past, you may begin to notice a subtle shift. You might start to realize those old beliefs, the ones that once felt so heavy and so stuck, they can begin to soften. They lose their grip on you. And what replaces them is this growing understanding. You're the one who gets to choose your direction. You're the one who gets to decide where to place your attention. Just think about the simple act of turning your focus towards things that bring you joy, the things that excite you, the things that make your heart feel light. It's almost like discovering a hidden treasure chest that's within you, a chest filled with things that's always been there, just waiting to be unlocked. And the more you open it, the more treasures you find. Little by little, those small shifts, those moments of choice, they build up. You may find yourself thinking, what else could I do? What more is possible if I simply choose to focus differently? As those questions begin to swirl in your mind, they open up the doorway to all the answers, to all the creativity and all the possibilities that lie ahead. When you think of the future, imagine stepping forward with an unwavering belief that will be better. Picture yourself confidently making decisions, knowing each step you're creating a future that's filled with excitement, abundance, and positive growth. What would it feel like to simply expect success, to expect good things to happen, and to watch as the world unfolds around you in ways that align with your new way of thinking? Now picture this. Each moment is an opportunity to experiment. Every thought, every action, it's a chance to test something. You might not have all the answers yet, but that's okay. The beauty of this journey is you don't need to know everything right away. You simply need to trust this process and keep going, one step at a time. With each experiment, you get closer to your true self, to the person you're always meant to be. And here's something powerful to remember. Nothing is set in stone. Every belief, every pattern, it's just a way of thinking that has been practiced over and over. And just as you've learned those patterns, you can unlearn them. You have the power to introduce new, more empowering ideas, ones that align with your desire for growth and transformation. And the more you play with these ideas, the more you practice them, the more they become second nature. So take a moment now and think about how far you've come. Isn't it incredible to realize, no matter what has happened before, the future holds infinite possibilities. And just by focusing on the positive, on what you want, on the changes you can make, you start to change everything around you. This isn't about trying harder. It's about seeing more clearly. It's about noticing the new opportunities and feeling the excitement of knowing you can shape your future with every thought you think, with every action you take. It's as if the world is now wide open to you. The old stories, the old patterns, they lose their hold. They are no longer your truth. Instead, your truth is written by you in the present moment. And that truth, my friend, is filled with possibility, creativity, and a deep sense of fulfillment. Every step forward, no matter how small, is a victory that compounds, building momentum, that pushes you closer to your dreams. In fact, as you continue on this path, you begin to understand each experience, no matter how seemingly small, is all part of a larger unfolding process. You may notice what once felt difficult is now just another part of the dance of life, something you can move through with grace and ease. And in doing so, you realize you are the creator of your reality. Your thoughts shape your world. Your beliefs shape your experiences. And every moment is a fresh opportunity to create something beautiful. As you look towards the future, notice how the very act of focusing on what is right, what's working, becomes the foundation for everything else. Every day, it's another chance to shift your focus, to engage in the process of experimentation and growth, to continue expanding into the best version of yourself. And the more you practice this, the more it becomes automatic, the more you become the person who chooses to see possibilities, to believe in abundance, to trust that good things are always on the horizon. You're not just a passive participant in your life. You are the active creator, the one who makes the choices, the one who shapes what happens next. And with each choice, with each shift in focus, you move closer to the life you truly desire. It's all within your reach, all waiting for you to discover it, just by choosing to see things from a different perspective, by choosing to believe in the power of your own thoughts. And with that, every moment becomes a fresh canvas, ready for you to paint with the colours of your own choosing.